All 8 great apes ranked by how powerful they are. A chimpanzee weighs around 130 pounds, 59 kilograms, and has no claws, no venom, no speed record to speak of. But in a documented test, one female chimp named Suzette pulled over 1,260 pounds, 571 kilograms, on a measuring device at a zoo. A college student of the same weight pulled roughly 332 pounds, 150 kilograms. So the chimp beat her by almost 4 times. Now, is a chimpanzee the strongest great ape on the planet? Not even close. Here is something most people never think about. Humans are great apes, not related to great apes, not similar to great apes. We are classified biologically and taxonomically as great apes. We belong to the same family as gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, and orangutans, the family Hominidae. That makes 8 living species of great apes total, and we are one of them. So this video is going to do something a little uncomfortable. We are ranking all 8 great ape species by physical power based on body size, muscle mass, bite force, grip strength, documented behavior, and raw physical capability. No intelligence, no tool use, no civilization, just biology. Number 1. Eastern gorilla, Gorilla Berinjay. There was never really a debate about who sits at the top of this list. The eastern gorilla is the largest primate on Earth, and it is not particularly close. The eastern gorilla species includes 2 subspecies, Grauer's gorilla, also known as the eastern lowland gorilla, and the mountain gorilla. Together they represent the heavyweight division of the primate world. Adult males, known as silverbacks, typically weigh between 300 and 485 pounds, 136 to 220 kilograms. The largest confirmed specimens of Grauer's gorilla can exceed 550 pounds, 250 kilograms, with some captive individuals reaching 600 pounds, 272 kilograms, or more. They stand up to 6 feet 4 inches, 1.95 meters tall. The mountain gorilla subspecies is slightly smaller on average, but still enormous, with males regularly hitting 440 pounds, 200 kilograms. They live at altitudes of up to 14,000 feet, 4,267 meters, in the volcanic highlands of Rwanda, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Bite force is where it gets truly impressive. A gorilla's bite has been measured at approximately 1,300 psi, pounds per square inch. Their massive jaw muscles attach to a sagittal crest on top of the skull, that raised ridge of bone you see on silverbacks, which acts as an anchor point for those extraordinary chewing muscles. In terms of lifting and grip strength, a silverback gorilla is estimated to lift up to 10 times its body weight, which places it among the strongest animals on land relative to size. That means a 450-pound, 204-kilogram silverback can potentially move 4,500 pounds, 2,041 kilograms. They can bend iron bars, snap bamboo stalks as thick as a human arm, and topple trees while barely breaking pace. Silverbacks are not built for speed or endurance. They do not need to be. When a silverback charges, beating its chest and roaring, it is not a bluff. It is a warning that something catastrophic is about to happen. Most predators in the ecosystem, including leopards, avoid them entirely. Dominant silverbacks have been documented killing crocodiles and driving off groups of male chimpanzees that outnumbered them. It is a physical expression of power before a single punch is ever thrown. Eastern gorillas take the top spot because nothing else on this list, in terms of pure raw physical ability, comes close. Number 2. Western gorilla, gorilla. Right behind the eastern gorilla is its cousin, the western gorilla. The two are often lumped together in casual conversation, but they are distinct species and they do have measurable physical differences. The western gorilla species also contains two subspecies, the western lowland gorilla and the cross-river gorilla. Physically, western gorillas are stocky and powerful. Adult males weigh between 300 and 440 pounds, 136 to 200 kilograms, with exceptional individuals sometimes exceeding that. They stand about 5 to 6 feet, 1.5 to 1.8 meters tall. The western lowland gorilla is slightly shorter and lighter than its eastern counterpart, but the distinction in day-to-day power is minimal. Both are capable of the same extraordinary feats of strength. The western gorilla shares the same general physical toolkit as the eastern species: enormous jaw muscles, powerful arms, and that signature barrel chest. Their bite force runs in the same range of approximately 1300 psi. Their arms are disproportionately long compared to their legs, which gives them tremendous leverage when pushing, pulling, or gripping. One difference between the two species is diet and habitat. Western gorillas tend to consume more fruit than eastern gorillas, which rely more heavily on fibrous vegetation. This has resulted in slightly less developed jaw musculature in some western populations compared to mountain gorillas who chew dense plant matter all day. It is a small difference, but it is a real one. If you ever encounter a silverback of any gorilla species in the wild, the appropriate action is exactly the same. Don't run, don't stare, and very seriously reconsider whatever life choices led you to that moment. Number 3. Chimpanzee, pan-troglodytes. The chimpanzee drops to third place only because gorillas exist. On any other list, the chimpanzee would be the dominant physical force without question. Adult male chimpanzees typically weigh between 88 and 130 pounds, 40 to 59 kilograms, and stand between 3.5 and 5.5 feet, 1.1 to 1.7 meters tall. They look manageable. They do not look like something capable of tearing apart a metal cage door or removing a human arm at the shoulder, but they are. The key to chimpanzee strength lies in their muscle fiber composition. Chimpanzees have a much higher proportion of fast-twitch muscle fibers than humans. These are the fibers responsible for explosive, powerful contractions, the kind used in sprinting, jumping, and fighting. Humans have traded many of these fibers over millions of years of evolution for slower, more endurance-focused muscles. Chimpanzees kept theirs. A 2017 study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences confirmed that chimp muscle fibers produce, on a per-unit basis, roughly 1.35 times more force than human muscle fibers in equivalent-sized muscles. Grip strength in chimpanzees has been measured at up to 441 pounds, 200 kilograms, by the Aoyama Zoo in Japan. Their arms are long, their shoulders are wide, and their fingers are thick and curved, built for gripping branches, pulling their body weight through trees, and holding on to opponents during fights. Chimpanzees are also the most violent of the great apes. They engage in territorial warfare. Groups of males patrol boundaries and carry out coordinated raids on neighboring communities. These are not random brawls. They involve strategy, stealth, ambush, and sustained attacks. Chimpanzees have been documented killing adult males from rival groups, taking infants, and systematically eliminating entire rival communities over time. This level of organized aggression, combined with their physical capability, puts them firmly in third. When a chimpanzee fights, it does not box. It grabs, bites, and tears. Their canine teeth are long and sharp, capable of causing serious lacerations. Documented chimpanzee attacks on humans have resulted in the loss of fingers, hands, faces, and in some cases limbs. A lone adult male chimpanzee is a serious threat to any unarmed human, regardless of size. Number 4. Bornean orangutan, Pongo pygmaeus. Switching continents now. While gorillas and chimpanzees are all African great apes, the next three species on this list are Asian, the orangutans. And in terms of raw physical power, the Bornean orangutan is the strongest of the three. Bornean orangutans are the largest of the three orangutan species. Adult males weigh between 130 and 200 pounds, 59 to 91 kilograms, with flanged males, the fully mature males with the wide disc-like cheek pads on the sides of their faces, reaching the upper end of that range, or sometimes exceeding it. In captivity, Bornean orangutan males have tipped the scales at over 280 pounds, 127 kilograms. Their arm span is extraordinary, up to 7 feet, 2.1 meters across, significantly wider than their height. These long arms are built for brachiation, the act of swinging through the forest canopy. But they also provide incredible mechanical advantage in any situation requiring pulling or gripping. An orangutan hanging from a branch is not just balancing, it is supporting its entire body weight through its fingers for hours at a time. Orangutan bite force sits around 575 psi, roughly equivalent to that of a lion. Their jaw muscles are adapted for cracking open hard nuts, ripping apart bark, and processing tough plant material. Their grip strength has been estimated at around 600 pounds, 272 kilograms. One adult orangutan can easily tear open a coconut bare-handed, something a human with full effort and a machete might struggle with. They are solitary animals and relatively non-confrontational in temperament. Adult flanged males will contest territory and female access through long calls, deep resonant bellows that carry through the forest for miles. Direct physical confrontations do happen, and they can be brutal, with males biting and grappling. But for an ape of this physical capability, fights are relatively rare. The Bornean orangutan wins fourth place by virtue of being the heaviest and most powerfully built of the three orangutan species. Number 5. Sumatran orangutan, Pongo abeli. The Sumatran orangutan is closely related to its Bornean cousin, and a quick glance at the two might not reveal obvious differences. Both are red, both are large, both have those long dramatic arms. But the Sumatran orangutan is generally leaner and lighter in build. Adult males weigh between 110 and 200 pounds, 50 to 91 kilograms, with flanged males at the higher end of that range. Females weigh between 66 and 110 pounds, 30 to 50 kilograms. They stand up to about 5.9 feet, 1.8 meters tall when upright. While the overall size range overlaps with the Bornean orangutan, the Sumatran species tends to have a slightly more slender frame, longer facial hair, and a less pronounced bulk through the chest and shoulders. One reason for this difference is ecology. Sumatran orangutans live in forests with more abundant fruit and a greater diversity of food sources compared to Borneo. They are more dependent on the forest canopy and spend even more time in the trees than their Bornean counterparts. Their lighter, more gracile build is an adaptation to this highly arboreal lifestyle. Less weight to haul through the canopy. In terms of strength, the Sumatran orangutan is functionally similar to the Bornean species. The same extraordinary grip, the same jaw power, the same general muscular architecture. A flanged Sumatran male is not something anyone should underestimate. But on a direct comparison for power, the slightly larger and more robust Bornean orangutan has the edge. Sumatran orangutans are also notable for being among the most tool-using of the great apes. Some populations use sticks to extract insects from holes, use leaves as gloves and umbrellas, and pass these learned behaviors through generations, a form of culture. Number 6. Bonobo, Pan paniscus. The bonobo is the most misunderstood animal on this list. Popular media loves to portray bonobos as the peaceful hippies of the primate world. Gentle, social, conflict-averse, and considerably less scary than their chimpanzee cousins. That reputation is partly earned. Bonobos are genuinely less aggressive than chimpanzees. They live in matriarchal societies, and they use social bonding behaviors to resolve tension. But none of that means they are physically weak. A bonobo is an extraordinarily powerful animal. Adult males weigh between 68 and 86 pounds, 31 to 39 kilograms on average, making them noticeably lighter than chimpanzees, whose males average around 132 pounds, 60 kilograms. Females are smaller still, averaging around 74 pounds, 34 kilograms. Height-wise, bonobos stand slightly shorter than chimps, with males averaging around 4.2 feet, 1.3 meters when upright. What makes them powerful is the same thing that makes all pan-species powerful: those fast-twitch muscle fibers and a body built around climbing, swinging, and gripping. A 2026 study found that bonobos can jump 1/3 higher than elite human athletes, with their legs generating force equivalent to humans nearly twice their weight. Their muscle fibers are larger and produce more raw force than human fibers of the same type. A famous bonobo named Kanzi, well known for language research at the Grape Ape Trust, was described by researchers as roughly 5 times stronger than a comparably sized human male in excellent physical condition. That is not a casual claim. It points to a genuine, measurable physical advantage that bonobos hold over humans, despite their modest size. So why 6th? Primarily size. When you stack a bonobo against a Sumatran orangutan or either chimpanzee, the bonobo is lighter, shorter, and generally less physically imposing. In a direct confrontation, the size disadvantage matters. Chimpanzees are documented to dominate bonobos in any competitive scenario. Larger males, wider shoulders, longer canines, and considerably more aggression. Number 7. Tapanuli orangutan, Pongo tapanuliensis. Second to last on the power list and first on the list of animals that need our immediate attention. The Tapanuli orangutan is not just the least powerful of the 7 great ape species, it is also the newest. It was only formally described as a separate species in 2017, making it the first new great ape species identified in almost a century. Scientists working in the Batang Toru forest in North Sumatra, Indonesia, confirmed through both genetic and morphological analysis that this population was distinct from both the Sumatran and Bornean orangutans. In terms of size and physical build, the Tapanuli orangutan is the smallest of the 3 orangutan species. Adult males weigh between 110 and 175 pounds, 50 to 79 kilograms, with flanged males showing the characteristic wide cheek pads and throat sac of the genus. Females are smaller. Their skull shape is slightly different from the other 2 species, with a flatter face and more distinctive features around the muzzle. Their fur is slightly frizzier as well. Functionally, the Tapanuli orangutan has the same physical toolkit as the other orangutans: powerful arms, strong grip, adapted jaw muscles, and a body built for the forest canopy. But being the smallest of the orangutans, and the smallest of all 7 great ape species, pitch it at the bottom of the power ranking. What makes the Tapanuli orangutan notable beyond its ranking here is how critically endangered it is. With fewer than 800 individuals remaining in a restricted patch of forest in North Sumatra, it is the most endangered of all great apes. Number 8. Human, Homo sapiens. We knew it was going to come to this. Humans are great apes. Taxonomically, there is no way around it. Homo sapiens belong to the family Hominidae, alongside gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, and orangutans. We share a common ancestor with all of them. Our DNA differs from a chimpanzee by less than 2%, and yet, in a ranking of physical power, we come in dead last. Not close to last, just last. The average adult human male weighs around 170 to 180 pounds, 77 to 82 kilograms in Western populations, and stands roughly 5 feet 9 inches, 1.75 meters tall. That puts us in the same general weight class as a male bonobo or Sumatran orangutan. But the comparison ends there, because the bonobo and the orangutan have muscle fiber compositions, grip strength and bite force that leave us well behind. Human bite force averages around 120 to 160 psi. The Tapanuli orangutan, dead last among the other 7 species, bites with a force estimated around 300 to 400 psi. A chimpanzee bites at roughly 1300 psi. Our bite is not a weapon by any serious measure. Human grip strength in trained adult males averages around 100 to 120 pounds, 45 to 54 kilograms of force. A bonobo, at roughly the same body weight, produces grip strength several times greater. A chimpanzee produces grip strength 3 to 4 times what a human can manage. A gorilla is in a different universe entirely. The reason for this goes back to evolution. Over the last 2 to 3 million years, the human lineage gradually traded raw muscle power for something else. Our fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones responsible for explosive strength, decreased as a proportion of our total muscle mass. What replaced them were slow-twitch fibers, better suited for endurance, fine motor control, and a kind of sustained, coordinated movement that supports long-distance travel and precise tool use. We got weaker in exchange for getting smarter and more durable. Humans also lost something else most great apes still have: prominent canine teeth. In chimpanzees, these long, sharp canines are real weapons. In gorillas, they are even more imposing, used in threat displays and combat. In humans, our canines are barely distinguishable from our other teeth. Now, humans are not completely helpless in a physical sense. Human endurance running is actually remarkable. We can outrun almost any animal over long enough distances, a trait that likely helped our ancestors hunt by persistence. But none of that closes the gap against the species above us on this list. What humans have instead of strength is a brain that compensates for everything the body lacks. A single human with a spear can bring down an animal many times its size. A group of humans with coordinated strategy can eliminate threats that no individual could survive alone. A human with a firearm is not physically powerful, but the threat it poses to a gorilla is absolute. If this ranking were about overall dominance rather than raw physical power, humans would not be at the bottom. But it is not about dominance, it is about what the body can do on its own. On that measure, we lose, comprehensively. And honestly, there is something satisfying about that. Not everything needs to be our win. So there it is, all 8 grape apes ranked from the thunderous eastern gorilla at the top all the way down to us. Every species above humans on this list would physically overwhelm an unarmed person without much difficulty, and some of them would do it without even trying. There is something genuinely humbling about laying this out. We are the most widespread, most dominant, and in many ways most destructive species on the planet. We have reshaped ecosystems, built cities, launched satellites, and yet, physically, we are the weakest member of our own family, the runt of the ape litter, kept alive entirely by our brains and the tools they let us build. We share between 96 and 99% of our DNA with every other species on this list, depending on the species. The gorillas are the most distant from us genetically. Chimpanzees and bonobos are the closest, more closely related to us than they are to gorillas. And despite that shared ancestry, Every non-human species on this list is classified as either endangered or critically endangered. The same species that sits at the bottom of this power ranking is responsible for the decline of every species above it. That is the most uncomfortable part of the whole list.